Welcome back to New to Medical Device Sales. I am your host, Jacob McLaughlin, and coming to you today from Iowa. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, you will see that I am in my nephew's playroom. Toys everywhere, with a giant pine cone from North Carolina. But Samson, my dog, and I decided to come take a quick trip to come see my family. I took a vacation because, like I told you guys, I finished in the top 10. And so, because I had a lot of success and I had some back orders that will push me into the new year, I decided, hey, might as well go see my family. My nephew just graduated from preschool. So I wanted to come back and see the family. Already had some fun, had a tornado a couple miles away yesterday. We had to go down in the bunker. So all the fun you could have in Iowa. But that doesn't stop us from getting you guys a podcast. So we're recording it this morning to get you guys one. But as you guys know, it's always giving you guys about experiences or talks that I'm having with you that can be helpful, because I drove over 20 hours this week, and so I talked to a lot of people, and on that call, the same topic kept coming up. So I'm going to go over that today because I think it's going to be extremely helpful. But before we do, press that like and subscribe button if you guys are watching on YouTube. If you guys are listening on the podcast, a 5-star review helps us grow this channel so more people can learn about this awesome industry and how to get hired in it. If you guys are looking to break in and you want an actual visual, I have that guide to breaking in medical device sales. I also have first year in, teaching you guys what I've done to take the lowest performing territory in the nation to the top 10. And you guys can find that at newtomedicaldevicesales.com. Link is in the description. And also I have some very, very exciting news today, as I'm going to be putting a course together. This is the first time I've talked about it, but I want to let you guys know that you guys are listening. I'm putting a course together because I've got a lot of people who've reached out to me about helping people break into medical device sales. And, we've had the conversation of medical sales college, $20,000. I talk to people every month that none of them or their classmates have interviews. And so because of that, I've been pretty pushed to, hey, how can I help people even more? And so now I've got a course together. So that will be launching here in the next several weeks. I'm just giving you guys a heads up because it is going to be very limited, because I want to work with only serious people, and I'm only going to work with people who want to get in, and I'm not going to waste my time or your money with people who are just like kind of want it. It's going to be limited to a very small amount of spots per week or month. I haven't decided where we're going to go with that yet, just because I want to make sure I give you guys the best experience, but that I can be all in. I'm going to have myself, plus eventually as this grows, coaches to help you guys as well, which I'm excited. But again, just be on the lookout for that. If you guys are looking to break in, again, this is never a money grab for me or anything. This is for you guys. If you want the podcast, the YouTube, it's all free. It's all here. That's why I've made it. I have hundreds of screenshots of people just this week: Medtronic, Johnson & Johnson, Stryker, everybody getting hired because of the podcast, because of the books. They have it. If you're a self-go-getter and you can do it by yourself, that's what I want. But also this group that I'm making, this course that I'm making, is to teach you guys, walk it through video that you guys can have it. It has quizzes, checklist, everything to make sure that you guys are doing the right thing, as well as coaching sessions, as well as a community, a group that you guys can be in with each other. Because again, the thing I love about medical device sales, and I tell this to people all the time, is I've met a lot of amazing people in this world in medical device sales, and they're a lot of my friends. So it's been a lot of fun. Crazy enough, I was actually driving back. Someone reached out. They just got hired with Medtronic. They're actually from Nebraska, where I was driving, and their clinical specialist lives in the same small town of like 300 people that my brother lives in, right? Like, it's just a small world, and it's a lot of fun. But had to get all that stuff out of the way. But again, I am excited to bring you guys that, because for me to help you guys, it's just another step that I can do. And if you guys hear whining, that is my dog, Sam. If I let him outside the room, he'll whine by the door because he's not with me. But then when he's in here and he hears my nephew playing, he whines. So hopefully he doesn't whine too much. He's just all about the energy. He's still kind of a puppy. But we're going into it today, you guys. Like I said, this is a call I've been having a lot lately. I had lots of calls this week. And the thing I wanted to go over was researching the division that you're wanting to break into. And so what this is going into is, if you guys haven't, if you don't know, there's a bunch of different divisions in medical device sales. And for just a couple of examples, there's minimally invasive, which I'm in, which are like probably same day surgeries, right? People can get the procedures, go home same day. There's ortho. That could be anywhere, and this is where it breaks down. When you're talking about ortho or orthopedics, it could be anywhere from, you could be talking about knees, hips, shoulders, elbows, wrist, hands, feet, ankle, all the above, every joint where you're talking about. So those can break down into their own subsection by themselves. And then you have trauma, which is 24/7, and they're doing ortho. You can be doing, ear, nose, and throat. You can be doing capital. You can be doing, where they're doing just tests, selling testing. So again, there's so many different divisions. And the reason I'm having this conversation right now with you guys is I talked to a lot of people who are wanting to break in, and somebody was reaching out and they're like, oh, I got this opportunity, but it's for trauma. And I was like, do you know the life of trauma? Well, no. Well, you might want to know that life, because if you guys don't know, trauma is 24/7, 365. You never have a day off. You could work an 18-hour day, get off at 3 o'clock in the morning, go home and get a call at 7 a.m. that there's another surgery going. That's the reality of that division. And the thing that should be stated is each division is going to depend on what your work style or your work lifestyle is going to be, and also how much money you can make. There's certain procedures, and like cardiac, like I didn't mention, cardiac is huge, right? Cardiac, veins, all that good stuff. But like cardiac, where they're working on the heart, and that procedure might charge, I remember my mom telling me, and again, this isn't the medical device company, but my mom got 2 stents put in her heart, and I remember she told me her insurance was, when she got the bill, it was close to $90,000 for a quick 2 stents in the heart. But it's a surgery on your heart, right? Compared to like surgeries that are out there, there's surgeries that are under $1,000. So, most likely the rep or the company is going to make more money in the cardiac space, right, than the surgery that's selling for $1,000. That's billing for $1,000, excuse me. So that's just something for you guys to think about, but also the lifestyle. I know cardiac reps, if I can talk, that are on call 365. Like I had one lady, she's like, I can't even go to church because I get calls when I'm in church on Sundays, and it's rough. There's give and take with everything. And one thing I should say, it's not always, but one thing I've personally learned working with so many millionaires and working with a lot of people that are financially well off, and then also changing my own life of, being a personal trainer, making that much money to, doing very well, thankfully, in medical device sales, is more money usually just comes with more stress, and it's not a bad thing, but it's just like, hey, if you're going to go from 100 to 200, there's probably a little more stress. If you're going from 200 to 400, there's probably more stress. If you're going from 400 to 1,000,000, there's probably just more stress that you're taking on. That's just the reality, because there's more responsibility. And that's really what it comes down to. So, there's no right or wrong answer. This is where I tell people, you have to know you have to know yourself. But going back into why you need to research these companies, because when I'm telling you to research the divisions, it's going to tell you everything you need to know. It's going to tell you what you want to do. It's going to tell you, what your lifestyle is going to be like. It's going to tell you if you're going to be in surgeries, if you're not, how much money you can make. But when you're doing this, why you should be reaching out to reps and networking. I have this conversation with somebody who's trying to break in, is a couple things. Number one, why you should be reaching out to the reps. All different kind of reps. They are going to tell you about these divisions. Everyone's like, well, what do I do? Where do I look? You're not going to find it on the internet. It's not going to be a good description of, what's a cardiac rep life compared to, what's a ear, nose, and throat rep, what's a capital rep. You're not going to know that by just Googling it. What you will find, though, is if you reach out to these people via LinkedIn and you talk to them on the phone, they're going to tell you everything that you need to know. They're going to tell you my favorite questions. Hey, can you tell me your favorite part of your job, and maybe not your favorite part of your job, the pros and the cons of the division? Is it the work-life balance? Is it, what you get to do? Is it the people you're dealing with? Those are going to be different things that you're going to find out by talking to these reps on the phone. But also, you're going to find out who your competition is. What's the best thing that they sell? What's the worst thing that they sell or that doesn't really sell? Who can they talk to? Who's their call points? Who's their competition? And what's their biggest problems that they face or have to overcome, right? These are the questions. When you find this stuff out and then you go talk to the regional manager or the hiring manager, you look like a rock star, and they're like, how did you know this? How do you already know all this information? And it's because you talked to somebody doing that job, and they just gave you the cheat sheet. And so that's what I always tell everybody. You're getting a cheat sheet when you're going and talking to these people. And that's why I'm so adamant about it, because you're going to come in and the person who's just Googling on the internet, they're not going to know this. And that's where I tell you guys, that's how I help myself stand out. Like with the job I landed right now, again, as you guys already know, I came in as a full line sales rep for the top company in the world. That doesn't happen, right? And I always will say it. I got very fortunate. It's because, there was an associate position that I was going to go up for, but I had proven over the time that, I'm very responsible, that I was going to do some good stuff. And both people quit within the first couple of days. That gave me the opportunity to come in and it all worked out, right? But I say this is, I still had to beat out, my manager called me and there was over 180 people that applied for my position. I was the top person that they thought, but then it went from me having a job within 2 weeks to, oh, we're going to start the interview process. And it took another 8 weeks. And I had to go through every single one. I made the finals, but again, it always came down to, okay, you have to be prepared. And my manager called me and she said, the reason we're going with you is you knew more about the territory, you knew more about our product, you knew more about this division than anybody I've ever met. And that's not a brag. That's the hard work I put in by talking to every single rep that was in that division, by talking about the pros and the cons, by talking about who's the competition, by talking about, hey, do you know about the territory I'm going into? Yes, this is what I've heard about your territory. So I could say that to the manager and they would be like, yes, that's true, right? And just be able to have those conversations. And then also, this is the second part of why you guys should be reaching out to all these different reps. Because you're not just gonna only learn about what division or what the lifestyle or where you even wanna get interested. Because for example, I didn't know about the division I'm in until I talked to somebody and they're telling me how great it was and how the lifestyle was compared to trauma or compared to another one. And I'm like, well, that sounds really good. I learned that by just talking to someone. I learned about other divisions that I'm now in, which you don't know until you're in. It's like, oh, you don't do any surgeries. You don't do half the amount of work I do and you make twice the amount of money. That's interesting, right? Like you just learn as you go. And that's why that's why you should always be talking, not even when you just break in, you always should be networking with people. I always am networking. I always am talking to people. But the second part where I was going with that is what happens is when you talk to people and you learn and you're a go-getter, they remember you. And they're willing to, like I had this several times, would be like, hey, Jake, shoot me your resume. I might know of a position. Or what happens, it even happens to me right now, when we have an opening come up in my space, in my division, for my territory, my manager texts us, hey, do you guys have any leads? Do you guys have anybody you want to put up for this, right? That's a big thing because now what happens is you get put to the front of the line. You cut against everybody's resume. You get put to the front of the line because a top rep or a rep on that team says it, right? And now that's the referral, because that's why I tell people when you can connect with the top rep, that's what I did when I was going for like a part of Stryker. I knew one of the guys who was the top reps and I helped him. He helped me. We made a friendship and that's how I got with the manager. And that's how I started. Okay, I have to do all the work. All that's going to do is lead you into it. You have to do all the rest of the work, but it gets your foot in the door. Now you get a seat at the table. Now you have to come and perform. But I'm telling you that's what the importance is, and they're going to put you up for it. And when that happens, when a top rep puts you up for it, that goes a long way. And that's why we talk about, like I say this all the time, I'm not just going to put my name on anybody. I'm not going to just say, yes, I know this person, because that's my reputation. And my manager knows, like, I finished, luckily, like one of the top reps on my team, the top, but I have a lot to say. So when she's asking me, she's like, well, Jacob performs. Jacob does really well. Jacob's a really good rep. Well, he's probably not going to give me a referral of somebody that sucks, right? So that's why it's like, if something came up and my manager did ask me and she's like, okay, Jacob, do you have anyone? They're going to get a phone call within the couple days. Like if I put someone up, that's just the reality of the truth. And so that's why I'm telling you guys, that's why the conversation is super important of why you need to be reaching out to these guys and these girls that are reps, because when you talk to these reps, they're giving you the answers, they're giving you the cheat sheet, they're giving you everything that you need to know. On top of, they're going to be the ones who give you referrals when you're good enough. And that's what the truth is. And I'll get this question asked when they hear this podcast. You guys will be like, well, how do I ask for it? I never asked for it. I never said, hey, can you put me up for any job? No. What I did is I was excited. I had the conversation. I was very go-getter. And I always said, thank you so much for your time. I closed them. And at the end, they would be like, hey, Jake, can you shoot me over your resume? Yeah, I can do that. I always waited for them to ask me. Or I would be like, hey, one of my favorite questions to ask was, hey, if you were in my shoes, you know, at the time I always said, I was like, hey, I'm 25, I'm single, I'm here in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm ready to do whatever I can to break in. I'll move anywhere I need to, you know, and I always told them, hey, what would you do if you were in my shoes? And then they would just tell me what they would think. But with that question, they would be like, man, this kid's hungry. He's willing to do anything. And that's why I kept getting job interviews, because they saw that. And then when they would, you know, 2 months later, hey, I have this kid that I remember talking to. His name's Jacob. Bam. And then I would get connected with him. And I said this on one of my older podcasts back in the day. When I got hired into medical device sales, I got 4 job offers, like I mentioned. When I got hired, my first month and a half, I got 2 other job offers that actually came my way because they're like, hey, I remember talking with you. We have a position. You'd be the perfect fit. You know, but like I took my position, I was very happy, right? But that's what I'm just saying, that people don't forget when you have the energy, you have the passion, when you come prepared, when you're a go-getter, when you're going to come and make a difference. And I tell people, I don't care who's going to hire me. They're going to be so happy they did. And do I have a lot to learn? You bet I do. It's going to take some time, but I believe in myself, and I have enough passion and growth that I'm going to make it, and I'm going to figure it out. And I'm going to use all the coaching that I can. I'm coachable. I'm moldable. I'm going to be the best rep that you ever hired because I'm hungry for it, you know, and like it's carried on into my performance as a rep, you know, and it's because it's just who we are. And that's why I love this podcast. That's why I love talking to you guys, because I know if you're listening to this podcast, you're the same as me, because you wouldn't listen to the podcast because I don't sugarcoat stuff. I'm not like, I don't want to say soft, but like, I don't make it for people who they want their feelings stroked all the time, because again, I'm a nice guy, but I'm also here to get people hired. And let's be straight up. My days are not sunshine and rainbows. A lot of times it's putting out fires. It's not getting treated very nicely. So the reason I'm saying that is if you are somebody who just gets their feelings hurt very easily, if you're someone who's just like, oh, I didn't like that, you're not going to last in this. You might break in, but you're not going to be good, and you're not going to last, because this isn't just sunshine and rainbows. So when I'm talking to you guys, 2 things. The ones that take me serious and that do this, they break in within 3 months. Every single time I have a conversation, literally just had someone break in within 6 weeks. Like, it's awesome because they go all in. This is what it is. It's type A personality. We're going to crush it, go after it. I don't care what the obstacle that's in my way. I'm going to get it, and you're going to figure it out. And that's the people that listen to this podcast, and that's why I love it, is because I know that's who you are listening to this, and that's why I appreciate you guys, is you're going to figure it out. You're going to get it. You're going to break it. You just got to keep believing. And I tell people it's a roller coaster, up and down, but you just hold on long enough and you'll get that job offer. So that's just me going on a tangent of just how much I appreciate you guys. And I know who listens to my podcast. But again, I know you guys are go-getters that are listening to this. I know that you're going to make a difference no matter where you're at right now in your life. Let me just tell you, as a personal trainer who was making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a couple of years ago to making 3, 4, 5x that now, this industry can change your life, and you just need to hang on a little longer and push through if this is really what you want. Because if you can come in and be successful here, there's a lot of opportunities after this, and just within medical device sales. But ending it on, you guys need to reach out. You need to do your research before you're going and calling on these divisions. And the reason is because you need to know your lifestyle. You need to get yourself, because I said this to the kid who was looking at trauma. The worst thing you could do is not do the research, take a job, do it, absolutely hate it, and then quit the industry because you didn't do the homework to find out, oh, you could have worked half the amount of hours. Like I say this all the time with trauma, like my division that I'm in, my surgeries, I'm not on call 24/7. I'm not getting, the reason I took this, everyone always asks me, why did I take my current position? Number one, lifestyle. Compared to all the other ones, my surgeries are faster. My work-life balance, most of my surgeries of how they're structured are pretty good on the time range. That fits my lifestyle. I'm still able to do a lot of things that I enjoy. And then as well as just financially, like again, instead of being an associate where I make half the money, I made more than double. And then like in my first year being in the top 10, I get bonuses and doing stuff I've done. And I'll state this real quick because I get it all the time on TikTok when I post it, right? When I post the average of medical device sales rep, right? You got to think average is for people who've been in for 20 years for 1 year. It's the average, right? But let me just make this clear. I've made what I post as the average rep, and I've been in a year and a half. And that's not a brag. That's not to say, that's just to say, hey, if you work hard, you can do really well in this industry, and it can change your life and your family's life. And that's what I'm always about. So again, you guys reach out to people so you can learn the lifestyle, so you can learn about all the cheat sheets of who you're going to be selling against, who you're going to be selling to, what's the best product that you sell, what's the territory that you're possibly going into if they possibly know that. Well, what's the biggest challenges this division faces? Like, those are the questions that you should be asking so you can understand it. So when you go talk to a regional manager or a hiring manager, you're a freaking rock star and you're rocket, and they will be like, I don't even know how this person understands this or knows this, but I'm so impressed. And if they did that before they even got paid and made $1 here, just wait till we start paying them for performance. That's what I always tell people. So that's something you got to think about. But again, appreciate you guys so much. If you guys are watching on YouTube, press that like and subscribe button. If you guys are listening on the podcast, 5-star review helps us grow this channel. Again, I'm excited to you. I'll be talking more about it as the upcoming podcasts go. But this course that I'll be doing, again, going to be taking a very small amount of number of people to help break in and again, make a coaching course, and it's already put together. We're just doing some finishing up. I haven't talked much about it, but I want to start putting it out as we're going to start pushing it here soon. But I'm excited because again, my goal is I get people telling me how they break in every single day. I get people who spend $20,000+ to go to medical sales college and they don't break in and they're lost. And medical sales college told them how to drill a hip, which they're never going to do because that's the doctor's job, not the rep's job. But they didn't teach them how to interview. They didn't teach them how to reach out and network. They didn't teach them how to get job offers. And so that's what I'm very passionate about because that's what I'm here. I'm just here to help people and that's what I want to do. So again, that's what I'm here for. Again, you guys can also grab the book, newtomedicaldevice.sales.com, link in the description where it's the guide to breaking in if you guys haven't broken, or also first year in, where again, I go over how I took the lowest performing territory in the nation, finished it in the top 10, have had a lot of success. I've turned this territory around and now, just wanting to give back to everybody else. But I appreciate you guys for listening every week. I hope this was motivational. I hope you guys get after it, keep knocking on it, and go after the goals you have and the dreams you want, because you guys can achieve them. You just got to stick with them and keep working hard. So I appreciate you guys. I will see you on the next one. Peace.